Act 1. The Cage and Her Credentials.
Setting: ScapeRune prison. Dim, sterile lighting casting long prison bar shadows. Rows of inflated balloon animals twitch slightly from the damp drafts. In the centre, a towering iron lever stands beside heavy steel doors. Prison Pete paces frantically, clutching a deflated balloon animal like a security blanket. Tiger stands near the exit hallway, sorting through a massive stack of formal paperwork, bug report scrolls, housing notices, and a volunteer badge.
Look, the last adventurer left 10 minutes ago. The jingle played. Freedom at last and all that jazz. You just gotta walk through the east hallway, Tiger. Pull the lever, get your 3 keys, and log out. Just walk away.
And go back where, Pete? Edgeville? Every player killer who knew my name in 2007 has either quit the game or moved on to endlessly slaying bosses in safer instances. I started out my career living among the pristine, sun-drenched marble courtyards of wealthy citizens, but surging rents and skyrocketing cost of living pushed me further and further out. First, I was squeezed into the outer rings of Varlamore. Then, I was forced down into the cramped alleys of the Varric slums. Finally, I had to migrate all the way across the continent to an isolated shack in the middle of nowhere, miles from any bank or spirit tree.
Well, apply for a proper job in the city. Use your academy degree from Mr. More Doubt.
I spent a decade studying at the academy, only to find myself living on scraps of community archiving and completely out of work. Every time I apply for an entry-level clerk position, the hiring committees in the wealthy quarters tell me my academic credentials don't count as real-world experience. The cost of bonds has doubled. My gold wages have turned to silver. I got served with formal sentences of exile from the taverns I used to frequent for debating with local bouncers over message board etiquette. I regret arguing. I was angry. You can take the player out of the wilderness, but it's hard to take the wild nature out of the player. Perhaps I'm a fighter at heart.
Well, it beats this. At least out there you can dance with a crowd instead of talking to yourself. It's always quiet in here. Except for the squeaking rubber.
At least here, the rules make a twisted kind of sense. If I pop the wrong animal, you tell me it's the wrong key. There's no appeals committee deciding my worth based on arbitrary standards they refuse to explain. Still, I have to hand it to the council. Despite my past punishments, they saw something in me and trusted me with player support. It's a way I can give back to the community while serving out my sentence, and I'm grateful for having that opportunity. I'm simply holding out for a quest certificate, a skill cape, or anything that proves my life still has a progress bar.
Act 2. The Bureaucratic Loop.
Prison Pete drops onto an upturned wooden crate, burying his face in his hands before gesturing wildly toward the iron doors like a desperate defense attorney.
You think the surface world has a monopoly on crushing bureaucracy? Try getting an appeal processed around here. The Emperor Penguin and his High Council, the kings and queens over all of Gillinor, employ Evil Bob and his servants to enforce every arbitrary ruling. They're completely convinced anyone who questions the system is guilty of unforgivable crimes. Did they give you the standard uncooking treatment yet?
Oh, they didn't just give it to me. Their divination crystal cited a 71 to 100% certainty that I was using forbidden magic. When I told them I spent a decade studying pattern recognition, they told me my academic standing held zero influence over my sentence and accused me of getting defensive instead of taking accountability.
Oof, brutal. And let me guess. You don't get to choose which magistrate reviews your case.
Exactly. Appeals are handled exclusively by the Emperor Penguin and his High Council, kings and queens over all of Gillinor. When I asked for the rule I supposedly broke, they told me the information is publicly posted on every sailing notice board, and that resorting to random accusations wouldn't help my case. And my next opportunity to appeal? Scheduled for tomorrow, only for every submission to get instantly rejected and automatically converted into more years of exile. They've effectively closed the case for a clear lack of accountability and stripped me of my residency. We are both stuck serving sentences dictated by an autocratic council that refuses to look us in the eye. I'm exiled from the pubs I used to frequent. My savings aren't keeping up with inflation. My resume runs through the shredder.
Act 3. The illusion of escape.
Tiger walks slowly toward the center of the cell, picking up a stray balloon animal and turning it over in her hands as the fluorescent lights buzz overhead.
Which brings me to a realization, Pete. I've been reading your file, or rather reading between the lines of your entire daily routine. You've tried escaping this prison dozens of times with prior adventures, haven't you?
That's just standard procedure. You pull the lever, you pop the right animal, you get the keys. That's what the script says.
No. Every single time an adventurer sets you free and says goodbye, you walk right back into the cell and lock yourself in. Why? Because you know that if you leave for good, Bob will just hunt you down, drag you back, and repossess whatever little dignity you have left. And as punishment for trying to stay free, Bob might not even leave the 3 keys in the balloons anymore. You're institutionalized.
You don't get it. I just miss the party room. Before, the Sears complained about the noise and the property values dropping in their fancy neighborhoods. Before the White Knights decided my balloons with silly painted faces were mocking royal authority. I just want to drop balloons in Falador without looking over my shoulder for a feline hit squad backed by the Housing Association. Is it a crime to want a party that never ends?
It was never a crime, Pete. It was just an inconvenience to people who never learned how to dance.
Act 4. The mirror of exile.
Tiger steps closer to Pete, holding out her volunteer badge and a thick stack of appeal notes. The cell grows dead silent except for the faint hum of magical barriers.
We're the exact same person, Pete. You're trapped because you're terrified of the cat outside. I'm trapped because the outside world already rejected me, and an emperor penguin made it final. My job prospects are grim as I face skyrocketing inflation, pub exiles, and systemic opacity. We are entirely defined by our past crimes, real or imagined.
So what are you saying? We just rot here? Do we replay this random event for the rest of our lives?
No, one of us has nothing left to lose in the outside world. My public status is already revoked. My housing lease in the slums is cancelled. My strikes are permanent. But you still have a party to run.
What do you mean? Look at me. I'm a permanent resident of ScapeRune.
Then go drop balloons.
No, Tiger, wait. What are you?
Act 5. The Great Trade.
Prison Pete stares down at the badge and the paperwork, his breath hitching sharply in his throat.
What are you doing? I can't take your credentials. If they audit this cell, they'll know.
And when was the last time they really came down here and checked on you? The kings and queens of above have long forgotten about us. Trade places with me and take back what's yours. You walk out that east hallway. When the jingle plays, keep walking away, all the way to Falador. Tell Party Pete his brother is back. Tell them the noise ordinance expired and the party room is open for business.
And you. What happens when Bob checks the cell and finds a former academy student instead of a party animal?
Naturally. They'll give me another lashing. I've lost count of the strikes.
Tiger, you're speed-running a ban on purpose. You're trading the real world for a jail cell.
I'm just retiring from the public war zone, Pete. Out there, I have to worry about Varlamore rent hikes, Varric slum poverty, job rejections, and appeals committees telling me my life has no value. At least here, when I find myself returning to the cell, I get to look forward to the brief moments of freedom in between. I get to help the occasional lost adventurer. Mr. Moredoubt taught me how to find patterns, and I finally found the right sequence. Go on. Grab the keys.
You're my friend. Forever.
Yeah. Just get out of here before the cat notices. Chuck your trash somewhere else on the way out, though. You know how the mods get about littering in the exit hallway.
Prison Pete scrambles to his feet and dashes toward the east hallway. A bright, cheerful, ironic jingle plays through the damp stone corridor. The heavy steel door clicks shut behind him with a deafening echo. Tiger stands completely alone in the centre of the ScapeRune cell. She reaches out a steady hand, grabs the big iron lever on the wall and pulls it down with a loud, heavy, metallic clank. A single balloon animal drops slowly from the ceiling, shaped precisely like a tiger.
All right, Mr. Mordaunt. Let's see what kind of key comes next in the pattern.